See if we can get this one done here today, folks. All right, hey, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We're working kind of in a weird way today, this morning, so bear with me, and we'll see if we can get the show started. All right, hey, and good morning, everybody. Sherman Ray, this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We come to you each and every day, talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. Hey, I want to apologize right now, folks, because I had a real difficult time yesterday with our computer and our setup. So, kind of working on I don't know, with a handicap, but we're going to try to do what we can. Literally, I have no mouse to work with. So we won't be doing any kind of special effects at all. We're just going to go straight. We're going raw. We're going raunchy. That's the way it is. But I want to welcome everybody to the show this morning. Thank you all for being a part of the show. And I want to thank all the people who came out and saw us yesterday out at the Large Vision Business Networking Mixer. So we were out there yesterday. A lot of friends came by, met a lot of new people, which is really cool. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I want to welcome all of our friends who are visiting us on Facebook. So let's take a look over there right now. Kind of see if we can say hello to some of our friends on Facebook. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our YouTube channel. Definitely leave a comment if you want. Leave a comment down below if there's something you want to see or something that you're noticing. You're going, hey Sherm, I noticed this or something like that. Just let me know, and we'll address it, and we'll see if we can answer some of your questions. Yesterday, out at the Large Vision Mixer, I had somebody come up to me. He'd been in Vegas since '99, I think, something like that. So he's fairly new to the city. But even in '99, he realized that there was a huge change in Las Vegas since he had come there, because he and I are the same age. And actually, no, he's older than I. But he had even noticed a big change. A lot of things had changed in Las Vegas. And so we were talking about that. So we're going to talk a little bit about, in this show today, we're going to talk about some iconic buildings and some things that have changed in Las Vegas. I mean, we'll get to some of the stories too, but I think this is probably going to be even more interesting. So hang on to your hat today, folks. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the iconic buildings and some of the things that have left Las Vegas that probably should have stuck around. I really should have. I just got that feeling. As I said, I'm working with a handicapper today because literally my mouse doesn't work. I've got several computers up here. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the inside of my studio. I've got several computers up and running, and they control all the graphics and everything else. And we put up pictures, might put up a video or something like that. And my main computer that I use for the show itself, yesterday, it's a little MacBook, so it's a MacBook Pro M1, and I bought it specifically for this show so that we could run all the stuff we're doing, and I use it for a lot of the publication of the magazine, that kind of stuff. Well, yesterday I took it to this event yesterday because we were going to show a video and show a compilation and all this other stuff. So it takes a little bit of computing power. And it's small enough where I can take it any place I go. But yesterday, something happened, and literally my mouse stopped working yesterday. I'm hoping what it is that the mouse is just, power-wise, maybe it's too slow in power. I'm hoping, because it's happened before. And so I'm going to let it charge, because I can't imagine all of a sudden it just stopped working. Literally, I'm getting ready to put up a presentation that I'd worked. I worked on this presentation for at least an hour. And get to the show, and I can't pull up the presentation. Now I've got a big monitor that I got set up, and everything's ready. Put out everything. I've got it all working. I know I've rehearsed this stuff before I left the house. And then click, click, click. This isn't the mouse. This is a different mouse. Oh, I can show it to you. It's right here. So this is the mouse right here that I use. And the mouse does not work. So, like I said, I'm hoping that what it is that the mouse is just dead because I use it a lot. But if not, I'm going to have to do some jumping around here. So want to welcome all the folks who are joining us. Black Success Magazine, over at Livin Weekly Magazine, Livin Weekly, Livin in Vegas Mag, all that kind of stuff. And I want to thank you all for being a part of the show today. Don't hesitate in leaving a comment below. Hey, you saw something, you like my tie? I hope you like my tie. Or something like that. Don't hesitate in doing that at all. And as I said, I'm gonna, let's see, I could probably do this. I'm gonna leave a I'm gonna do something really quick here. This is very hard for me to see, so that's why I hesitate to doing anything. Let's pay a bill here really quick. I think I can do this without a mouse, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, here we go. Hi everybody, it's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, and we are back, folks. I want to thank everybody once again for being a part of the show. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine, and comes out every quarter. And we also have Livin Weekly magazine that comes out. And once again, this is so frustrating. I'm going to try to put pictures up. I think I can do this. It just looks weird because I'm reaching all over the place. It's because I have I've got no mouse, so it's very hard. I'm reaching for stuff and. Very frustrating. So, this current edition of Livin in Vegas magazine, hope you can go to our website, check it out. And this is, on the front cover is Nathan Hall. Nathan is the owner of Bad Beat Brewing Company. So, very excited about him being a part of the show and being one of our sponsors. I've been talking to Nathan for the last couple of days, letting him know about how we've been talking about him. Folks, I want you to go down. If you're near Bad Beat Brewing, go down there and say, hey, I saw you on the Livin in Vegas podcast. I see you every day. And let him know, hey, guys, guess what? People are talking about you all the time. As a matter of fact, we actually had an advertiser. His name is Dirk Ravenholt. Many of you, if you don't know who Dirk Ravenholt is, you probably know what KUNV 91.5 here in Las Vegas, the UNLV station, the only jazz station in the state of Nevada. Student-run UNLV. You know how we love UNLV. What's up? What's up? What's up? So Dirk Ravenholt is one of our advertisers. He's the guy who actually started the university radio station. And so if you get any of our emails or anything like that, it's generally you'll see his stuff right over the top because he's one of our advertisers. Well, Dirk comes to one of our events one day, and this is a few months ago, and he goes, "Sure, I never thought that." Because he's a very benevolent guy, very philanthropic, that kind of guy. He goes, well, Sherm, I just believed that, you needed help and wanted to help and that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of guy he is. Real big guy, big guy, big attitude, big personality, that kind of stuff. And his wife, Cynthia, she's just as demure and is just as sweet as she possibly can be. It's a great combination. So back to Dirk. Dirk goes, well, Sherm, I didn't think that you're advertising on you since you're so new that it was really going to do anything. He said, but I'm getting phone calls for my wife's business because she does a facial, beauty, that kind of stuff. She's gorgeous and just gorgeous. And so he says, but I know it's the advertising that we've been doing with you is working because there's no other place that people would ever find out about what we do. We're their only outlet that they've got. And he goes, my wife's business is just off the charts. And I said, I told you, Dirk. I don't. People do watch the show. They really do. They do get the emails. They do get the newsletter, and we send it out every day. So go down to Bad Beat Brewing, folks. Tell Nathan that you saw him on the Livin in Vegas podcast, and that you really, this is the place to be at. They're over off of, they're in Henderson, actually, matter of fact. They're over off, oh gosh, I never remember. It's not Gateway. It is Gateway. But look them up. Just look them up. Bad Beat Brewing. I'll try to get the address for you pretty quick. Also, folks, we put out another magazine. It's called Livin Weekly Magazine. You've probably seen this lovely lady, and her name is Sandra Douglas Morgan. So Sandra Douglas Morgan, she's the new president of the Raiders. Just, guys, I'll tell you, she's got some rock star stuff going on here with these wonderful people that are a part of Las Vegas. And that's our Livin Weekly magazine. You can get both of these. Just go to livininvegas.com. That's www.livininvegas.com. And you can actually get either one of these magazines. So let's talk. I know I did something, but I don't know what I did. I know I did. So there we go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about a couple of stories that happened overnight. One, and I don't have the graphics. Once again, I'm so sorry, folks. I'm working at a disadvantage. I can't get to it and can't upload it. The Seven Mountains. Many of you have heard of the Seven Magic Mountains here in Las Vegas. If you go out, basically Las Vegas Boulevard, old Las Vegas Boulevard, and the old highway going out to the south of the valley, going through the. If you go near the M Resort, that kind of stuff, there's a road that leads right out, which the M Resort is on. It's old Las Vegas highway. Head out there, going south, going to California. There is actually on the left-hand side, about, 10, 15 miles out, there is this art exhibit out there, and it's called the Seven Magic Mountains. I've ridden out there several times on my bike with a group of guys, which is just fun, just to ride out there, the undulating roads, that kind of stuff. Anyways, great. Oh, there's Dirk Ravenholt's card. I just happen to have it right in front of me. Sorry. So that art installation was actually done fairly. It's I don't know how long ago was that done. 20. What was it added? Let's make sure. I hate to give bad news, folks. So it was originally slated to be removed in 2018. It was actually done. Okay, so it was completed in 2016 by a renowned Swiss artist. His name is Ugo Rodanon, and this was through the Nevada Art Museum, also through. Oh, sorry about that. Through New York, the New York's Art Production Fund, Nevada Museum of Art, and it was completed in 2016. So, the interesting thing about this, folks, is that it's been up for a long time. And if you see it in the middle of the desert, you will know what this is, because it's 7 big boulders, not big boulders, folks. Big boulder. I can't even tell you how big it is. It's huge. They're like little Volkswagens stacked on top of each other. multicolored. Some say gaudy colored. Okay, so it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So those they're stacked up out there, and they're just kind of spaced out. And people go out there and they take pictures of themselves. And many people, it's become very known throughout at least America. Go out to Las Vegas, out in the middle of the desert, and you got these seven mountains. They call them seven mountains. Well, over the year now, when I was out there, which has been a while now, it's been a couple of years now since I've been out there. Um, it was just kind of an oddity. I saw it and I went, "Oh, that's very interesting that you go out there and check this out." Well, unfortunately, what has happened now, though, folks, over the years, is people are being people, and people leave their trash out there. And the bottom boulders, once again, it's very tall. So this is a tall installation. It's not like people are going to climb this thing. This thing, they're like 2 stories. It's that high, each one of these things, at least. Well, people have gone out there and they're graffitiizing them, spray painting them, putting all kinds of crap on them, and it's getting to be pretty ugly. And at least the bottom boulders, because that's the ones you can get to. And people, I guess, feel like, hey, if they want to write Kilroy's here, 2017 or whatever, and it's gotten to be quite the eyesore. Even though there are trash receptacles, or actually not trash receptacles, there are signs that say, hey, don't write on this installation, take your trash with you. People are not doing that. And so they've contacted the Nevada Museum and said, hey, look, or the Nevada Museum of Art, and said, hey, look, when are you guys going to clean this thing up? And they have come back, they're going, well, we've got a lot of things we have to do to get this thing done. One is it is an art installation, so we can't just go by and spray paint it. Okay, we can't just touch it up and say, that's it. The artist, I think, would have to come back out there. Now, here, once again, folks, if you've not seen, and I'm going to post a picture, or if you go onto our website, our first, I wish I had it with me. I'm going to take 1 second to look for it. I don't have it. Our first magazine that we put out actually has a picture of the Seven Mountains on it because we think it's very iconic. And it's got a picture of a really pretty girl, and she's standing there. Her dress is kind of blowing in the wind, that kind of stuff. And behind her is this art installation. It's very cool. Uh, the colors on this thing are like yellow, green, red, orange, blue, and it's not as though this is like Picasso thing, flowing line. It's paint. You paint a rock yellow, you paint a rock green. Okay, to me, it doesn't seem like this would take a lot to touch this stuff up. Can of spray paint, and you're done. You have somebody come out there and get this done. But evidently, it's got issues. It's on certain land. It's under a certain jurisdiction. Of course, you've got to speak to the owner of it or the guy who did the art installation because it's actually copywritten stuff. I know a lot of you are probably going, "What? It's copywritten?" Yeah. Once you, as an artist, a graffiti artist or whatever, I shouldn't say graffiti artist, a landscape artist, put something on a wall, it becomes copywritten, and it is that's yours. I mean, and you cannot go out there and just change it because you don't like it. Okay, you just can't do that. We did a story on that about a week ago. So this art installation, the Seven Magic Mountains, is now. The Nevada Art Museum said, "Hey, we're going to go out there and we're going to do something. We're going to try to fix this, but right now it's kind of in limbo, and it's really just kind of we hope that what happens is like what they do out in Red Rock Canyon with the Indian petroglyphs, that kind of stuff, the Native American petroglyphs, because this actually was, and we know why it was done. It was actually a paid for art installation, and it should not be defaced. Okay, so here's a word to the wise for any of you folks that are going out there. Um, uh, Respect what we've got out there. I mean, just don't pick the cactus. Don't take the tortoises. Don't kill the jackalopes. You know, just respect nature and leave stuff alone. Okay, that's just the way it is. Um, hmm. And let's see, how much time do we have? Oh shoot. Okay. Let's also talk about some iconic buildings. We're going to actually do a story about that about this week in the upcoming Livin Weekly magazine, where we're going to talk about. I was inspired by um, a story that we did earlier in last week or late last week, and it was about the Hartley mansion. And many of you probably heard about this. So the Heartland mansion, or I think they call it Mansions 57 or something like that. So we got to notice that the mansion over off of Sixth Street and like Charleston Boulevard, was had changed hands, and that it was going to be demolished. That there were rumors that it was going to be demolished. So that day, as soon as I found out about it, I went out and took pictures of it. Went out there as quick as I could, and met up with a another photojournalist out there. Had a great conversation. We talked about it, and we met some of the workers that were out there who were they weren't very hospitable, because we said, hey, look, we want to do a story on this because we know that something's going to happen with this building, and intuitively, I knew that they were probably going to demolish this building. Well, true to form, folks, within a week, they they started leveling this building. Now, so what's so special about this building? Well, there's some people who are Vegas legends who have actually partied in that building. It's a huge building. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 25,000 square feet or something. It's huge. It's a huge building. They bought it at about $4 million. It was built in the 40s. People like Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra, Ginger Rogers, those kind of people actually partied at that place over the years. And they didn't even tell the neighbors this thing about it. They didn't tell the neighbors that it was going to be demolished. Didn't bring it up to public debate or anything like that. And as I was standing out in front and I was speaking with this photojournalist, I said, you know what? I said, they probably haven't even told the neighbors what they're going to do with this property. They bought it. They're going to probably demolish it. And then they're probably going to put something in its place that they're probably not going to be very happy about. I can guarantee you. And while we're standing there and we're talking, and I'm parked out in the middle of the street, so I mean, we're just kind of talking. Somebody drives up and they go, "Hi guys, what are you doing?" And you guys taking the last looks at the building. And as quickly as I mentioned it, the guy who I'm standing with goes, "Oh yeah, they're gonna tear it down. They're gonna do this, that, blah blah blah." And I go, "Man, I just told you that like 30 seconds ago, and now you're just acting like you're the authority on it." And I'm speculating, of course, but he's being the authority on it. Okay, so anyways, I was right. They tore it down. Um, they the neighbors are very upset about it. I mean, some people, lady lives across the street. She was able to get one of the chandeliers and the sign for it because she's going to put it in her yard. Once again, these homes are fairly big in this area, so along with the mansion, which is huge, a lot of the buildings that are around it are. It's in a residential neighborhood right off Las Vegas Boulevard. So it's Las Vegas Boulevard. For those of you who don't know, is Fifth Street. Sixth Street is the next building over. It goes into a residential neighborhood. Um, and some of those homes have been there for decades. I mean, decades they've been there. So these folks, they want to keep that neighborhood as a historic area. And had they known that they were going to tear down this building, they probably wouldn't have allowed it to happen. Right? They should. And tell you the truth, they shouldn't allow that to happen. Unfortunately, what happens here in Vegas is people don't have a sense of history, and a lot of buildings, and we're going to talk about it this week in Livin Weekly magazine, is that a lot of the buildings that were torn down in Las Vegas probably should have never been torn down because people had no idea that they were even here. I mean, they just had no idea that those buildings here. Let me give you one example. Is Tule Springs. Many of you probably this might be the first time you ever heard of Tule Springs, or you're thinking, "Oh, I live in Tule Springs." No, you don't. Tule Springs, when I was a kid, was a destination you went to, and that destination was a big park, had a lake, had actually a couple of lakes, had a train out there. It was used as a place for people, like almost like Sunset Park is today. That's the way Tule Springs was. It was a trip you went to. I mean, it was a trip. It was a destination you went to. Now it's part of a neighborhood because the city has kind of encroached into that area. But that place now, people had no idea where it is. It used to have trees and ducks and all that kind of stuff. And now it's just basically gone. The old Kyle Ranch. Okay, the old Kyle Ranch is in the historic west side of town, but it is historically it was a ranch in the middle, out in the middle of the desert. But once again, that it was encroached upon by the neighborhood. It's gone now. It's simply gone. I used to live literally less than half a mile from it when I was a kid, and we would go down this little embankment, which was a desert kind of trail, and you could see it across the street. That it was just an old spooky building because it was an old ranch building that was built back in the day. So we'll talk more about that though, folks, because I think the Historical Society in Las Vegas really needs to actually designate a lot of the buildings in Las Vegas as historical sites that cannot be taken down. You can't change them from a historical because if you don't, Vegas will have lost pretty much all of what made Vegas Vegas. Okay, because even some of the row houses that are downtown in the downtown area have been renovated to the point where you don't even know what was there. Um, a lot of them have been changed into law offices, that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but they should not be able to change them because those law offices might be there for a couple of years. Okay, but they might go away. So that's and that really kind of lends to the character of a city. I mean, it really does. It lends to the character. I don't know how many of you agree with me, but I think that personally that lends to the character of a city, and a city really is only as good as its history. Okay, we don't want to be like Saudi Arabia or any of these places that gets money, and once it gets money, it just tears down everything and it renovates everything. I go, well, because then you have no idea what it was before. You really have no sense of continuity, any roots, and really we are a very well rooted place. That is really one of the reasons for this show. We wanted to talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. But if we have no history, we have no past, it's very, very tough. It's very problematic. Anyways, folks, we're done for the day. I want to thank you all for being a part of the show and bearing with me with all of the technical difficulties we had. I mean, we've actually had a lot of technical difficulties that arose from the show, but I think we've gotten through it. Hopefully, we'll have everything back online tomorrow, and we'll be able to do some cool stuff. We'll show you some videos of the or some of the shots we had from the event we did yesterday, and hopefully you'll be able to share it with us some of the things that were happened yesterday. And go to our website, folks. We've already updated our website with some of the stories that we were going to talk about today. So go to livininvegas.com. That's livininvegas.com. You can check out some of the stories that we were going to talk about on the show today that we didn't get a chance to. We update that pretty much every day. If you'd like to get on our mailing list, you're more than welcome to get on our mailing list. Send me your contact information to info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com. And you can be a part of our mailing list. You'll get all these updates of cool stuff that's going on in the valley. And stuff you probably thought you would never hear of. Okay. So, anyways, we're out of here, folks. Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local and the return of cool. This has been Sherman Ray. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.